Working on the Expedition again today. This video here will apply to any Ford SUV or truck that's four-wheel drive. We're going to change the front diff fluid, and we're going to use a fluid extractor to suck it out, and then I've built a pneumatic pump to pump it back in. We'll get down underneath it. I'll show. So here we are underneath looking at the front axle, and you can see there's not very much room to get that front cover off. So instead of trying to screw with that, what we're going to do is come back here to the back side, and you can see the fill plug is right there. So we've got a fluid extractor we're going to put in there and pump out as much of the old fluid that we can and put in fresh. The reason we're doing this is I was down here changing the oil last night and I saw it is leaking. This is a fluid extractor. It comes with a bunch of different sizes of hoses, thicker, and they progressively get thinner. And I'm trying to use the thickest one possible since gear lube is so thick. I want to come out quickly. And we're going to go ahead and call that good enough. There's measurements on the side of this. They're in liters. 1 liter is right here, and a quart's a little more than a liter. So we probably got a little bit over a quart. The second liter mark's way up here. So that's how full it is. A little over a quart. And this thing holds just under 2 quarts. So we probably got 60-70% of it out. It's been about probably half an hour to suck that much out. But this little thin spindly tube that we were using just does not allow it to flow very fast. But I love this Mighty Vac. I would greatly recommend it to anybody. Harbor Freight does sell a cheaper knockoff version that works okay, but in my experience it tends to plug up easier with little bits of junk. So anyway, let's get this out of here, get the fluid pump over here and get it filled up and start pumping the new. So this here's my fluid pump. It's essentially just a 4-inch PVC tube with a piece of ice maker tubing coming out of the bottom of it. The top is a threaded cap, so that's where we dump our fluid in, and it's got a female chuck to hook your air hose up to and a regulator to set the pressure. I put a ton of epoxy on the inside when I made it trying to seal this up, and it's actually worked quite well. It holds pressure pretty good. Something like this where I'm doing gear lube, I'll probably only put 10, maybe 15 pounds of pressure in it. If I was running something thinner like tranny fluid, I usually run more like 40 psi. But I take it easy with the gear lube since this is something I made myself and there's no really any standards or any regulations just telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing with it. So estimating we got about 1.5 quart out, just a little under. We're putting 1.5 quart in here, and should be a little extra, just perfect. I made this thing originally for doing a transmission Explorer. It was the kind where it fills up through the bottom of the pan through a plug. It's about 20 psi right now. Now that I open the valve, it dropped right down to nothing. Let's see. Turn the pressure up a little bit. That would be all the gear lube. Question is it actually full? Well, let's run it out. Let's get up in there and see if it's actually full though. That would be too perfect. About the only downfall with this setup is when you pump the last little bit of fluid out and you get that big blast of air, it kind of splatters everywhere. But judging on how that's still running out of there pretty quickly, I'm gonna say, yeah, I'd say it's full. So we'll let that trickle out till it stops and put the plug in. And this plug is just 3/8 ratchet is all it takes to put it in. It's not a Torx or anything special, just a standard ratchet to put her back in. Can't get much throw on this ratchet here. One more push, we'll call it good. I lied. Another half a push. And good. Okay, there we go. Nice and buttoned up. It didn't make too big of a mess on the floor even. Got a little bit of oil from when it splottered out, but building some shelves in the garage later anyway, so that sawdust will soak it up nicely. Well, the main reason for doing this today was I was concerned with that gray color of the fluid leaking out around the pinion seal, which I'm thinking is no big deal. The gear lube might just be gray. I'll have to look into that some more, but now we know it's full, and thanks to the Mighty Vac and my homemade fluid pump, it really wasn't that big of a deal to change. If you guys like these vehicle videos, please comment, rate, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Thanks.